Canon in D. Last week we learned 8 notes. All of them went down a fourth up a second. Apart from the last bit that went up a fourth, up a second. And we went from D to A, and we talked about that being its 5 chord. A is 5 chord of D. We talked about, even though we're going down a fourth, because that fourth and 5 is like a pendulum thing. Up a second, down a fourth. Your G is your 4th chord from D. 1, 4 and 5. 5 is always where the top note of the D chord is anyway. 4 is a whole step down from your 5, or a half step up from your 3, because of that division on the piano that there's only a half step between your 3rd and your 4th note. Today we actually talked about all the chords, these 8 scale chords that come with Canon in D. We talked about scale chords about 3 months ago, and we talked about them on C. We said, hey, if you're playing chords and you're just using white notes, then your C, your F and your G, your 1, your 4 and your 5 are major chords, but your 2, your 3 and your 6, if you're using white notes, see that, are minor chords. So you got 1 major, 2 minor, 3 minor, 4 major, 5 major, 6 minor. Your 6 minor is actually your 3 half steps down relative minor chord of C. So that is also called your 6 minor. The 7th chord was the weirdest one of all. We know that a B normally has 2 black notes, so it's not only a B minor, it's also a B minor with a flat 5. So your 7th chord is a 7 minor flat 5. So 1, 2 minor, 3 minor, 4, 5, 6 minor, relative minor, 7 minor flat 5 are actually the same chords that we're going to use with Canon in D. Here is your 1, and I'm just going to show those scale chords when you're working with a landscape with 2 sharps in them, which sharps? F sharp and C sharp. So then you get your D chord, your 1. Your E is going to be a minor chord because we're not using the G sharp. So your 2 is a 2 minor. Your 3 is going to be your F sharp and your C sharp. So it's going to be an F sharp. F sharp is normally dark path, but it's going to be a F sharp minor. Here's good old G, your 4 chord, 4 of D. Your 5 chord, 5 of D. Your 6 chord, which was that relative minor. See that? If you are on D, you go down 3 half steps. Your 6 chord is your relative minor. And here is the funny 7 chord. We know that a C sharp chord normally looks like this, but this one has come down. And this one has come down because we're not using any Fs and we're not using any G sharps. And so this is your 7th, and both your 3rd note has come down, so it's a C sharp minor, and your 5th note has come down, it's called your C sharp minor flat 5. Good news is we don't need it today. We only need our 1 chord, our 4 chord, our 5 chord, our 6 minor chord, which is our relative minor chord, and our 3 minor chord. Let me show you that with Canon in D. We're going from 1 chord to 5 chord to that relative minor, which is your 6 minor chord, to your 3 minor chord, to your 4 chord, to your 1 chord, to your 4 chord, to your 5 chord. I'm going to show you that on the piano from your 1 chord D to your A. You can either go to the A up here or the A down here, and it's going to be your 5 chord. Your B minor, 3 half steps down, is your 6 minor chord, your relative minor chord. Your F sharp chord, your F sharp is your 3rd note, so it's going to be your 3 minor chord. Doing well here. Here's your 4 chord, it's your G chord, back to your 1 chord, it's your D chord, back to your 4 chord, it's your G chord, back to your 5 chord, which is your A chord. So if you've got D and A, B minor, F sharp minor, G, D, G, A with you've got your 1 chord, your 5 chord, your relative minor chord, your 3 minor chord, your G, your D, your G, your A. Why do we need to know this? Well, you could play the whole song. In the key of C, just using those same chords again. Not that we want to do that, but it does help you find those chords a bit. I'm keen for everybody having a go with those chords. Maybe just in your right hand, maybe in both hands. And maybe with a bit of rhythm. Whatever you feel like doing. Whatever way you want to break those 8 chords up. I'd love to think you become quite familiar with them and be really great.